Hi again. In this episode, we will take a look at the simplest interaction with Web-IFC and see how can we read a line from our IFC file and parse it into a JavaScript object. So basically, just to remind you, if you're not really familiar with IFC data, the IFC line looks something like this. So here we have the ID in the beginning, and then you have the assignment and the name of the entity, for example, IFC door or IFC wall or IFC unit or whatever other entities that we have. Then you have a global ID, and then you have some other parameters. When it looks like this is an empty parameter. When you have a reference like this one, this is an ID to another element, like another line like this one that starts with #7. And when you have these brackets, this is a list of elements, or as we have here, a list of reference IDs. So a file basically looks like this, and with Web-IFC we can get whatever line, like this one for example, or this one, or this one, or any one of them, with a method called getLine. So basically I'm going to open my code. The code is available on GitHub. You can check this branch. It's going to be called episode 2. So as we saw earlier, we have this minimal setup, and we have here opened a model, and we have closed it here, and our processing is going to be between them. So basically, as I said, the first method that we're going to be exploring is how to get a single line. So here I'm just going to call this IFC API and call the method called getLine, this one. As you can see here, the first argument is the model ID, which is this one. Is going to be 0 by default if I'm opening one single file, but I'm going to use the variable called model ID. And the next argument is express ID, which is the IDs of the lines that you can see in here. The beginning of each line you have hash and a number. So to get, for example, this one here, IFC Cartesian point, which is 550, I'm going to type here 550 and just console.log this very simple line and see what do we have. So in my browser, I'm going to open the console here. First of all, we need to pick a file. And as you can see, line, it logs the IFC Cartesian point that I showed in my file, and this is the express ID. We have here a type, and we have here the coordinates that we can see in here. All right, great. So basically the same way we can get whatever line that we can see in this file. So let's take something a bit more interesting. We're going to get this IFC space. So I'm going to copy this ID here and paste it here. And again, I'm just going to pick my file. And as you can see here, this IFC space has a bunch of attributes or properties that we can see right here. So it has a name, it has a long name, it has a global ID, it has all the data that we can see here in this line. Another thing to mention here is that we have things like these references. This is not a value, it's not like this name, it's a reference. It references another line. All right, in the browser you can see here, if you open this, for example, owner history, it says the value is 33. All right, so if we check here, this 33, it references another line. Can go and check which one real quickly. So it's this one. All right, But here, as we can see, it's not logged as an object. It's a handle. As you can see here, this is a handle. So in order for me to get this line, I need to do the same thing again and get that line. Or what we can do is add a third parameter here. It's called flatten. I'm going to set it to true. And now let's check again that owner history. Now it's not a handle, it's a full object. All right, so this is what flatten does. It's a full object now, and it's the same for all the other handles that we had before. As you can see, you can go and find all the data present here, so we don't have to apply that get line on each one of them. So great. The third parameter that we can add is inverse to get more properties, because this IFC space that we have, it's referenced in other, as you can see here, it's referenced in other places by other properties or by other materials, not for the space, maybe for doors and walls. It's referenced by other relations like IFC aggregates and so on. So basically, to get more of those properties, I'm going to add a fourth argument as true. And if I check here, I'm going to find a bunch of other properties like bounded by, and here it shows me all the IFC spaces that are bounding that that space. It gets me also is composed by, here is empty, has coverings, and decomposes, and many other properties and relations that we might need for this specific object. All right, great. And the last parameter here is inverse prop key, sorry, which is a string. Here, as it says here, it filters out all the other properties. So if you want to get one of them, not all of them, because as I said before, it matters performance wise. So if you just want the bounded by, don't want these additional properties, you can just type that bounded by here, and the other ones are not going to be in there. I'm talking about the additional ones, not the ones that we can find, not the ones that you can find like directly in the line. I'm talking about the additional ones that are referencing the same object. All right, so as you can see here, we have only that bounded by, we don't have decomposes for example, you know. So yeah, this is it. So this way is how we get a line object simply in Web-IFC. Of course, we're not going to hard code them like this. We need a way to get these IDs and apply this method on them. And this is what we're going to see in the next video. We're going to see how we can get the IDs that we want automatically in our code, so we don't have to write them like this by hand. All right, so see you next one.